You like
I like the option of seeing where things go, but not committing right away.
Why can't you just say that? I mean, is that honestly what it is, or are you just a piece of shit that wants to smash and dash? Even if you are a piece of shit that just wants to smash and dash, trust me, they like you. That won't stop them from fucking you.
I mean, you could just put that in the Tinder bio. I'm a piece of shit who likes to smash and dash.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man.
I don't have an issue with initially meeting girls. It's just keeping them is hard for me. Maybe it lasts a couple months and then I don't know what
fizzles
happens.
out.
It just doesn't work out. Yeah, it fizzles out. So my question is how do I retain them,
Okay, good.
Well, let me ask you this. Are you maintaining the same effort when you first went out with them throughout those couple months, or do you start to wean off? Because sometimes guys forget that you got to keep dating her all the time. You got to be your best self all the time. And sometimes guys will up front make a big effort, and once they get comfortable, they don't maintain the same effort of attraction, of energy.
Here's the other thing. Understand it what I try to put it as is that the same thing that gets the girl is the same thing that keeps the girl, right? Which is very different for women, right? The thing that gets the guy is not the same thing that keeps the guy. You as a guy, like I say, men hunt, women trap, right? Women set the trap. They put the eyelashes on. They put the makeup on, the high heels. They spank it up. They put the little split, and they sit at a bar and they trap. They bait the trap, and then you go, hey, what are you doing here? Yeah. Can I buy you a drink?
They wait for the prey to come to them.
The prey comes to them. Whereas we hunt, we go out hunting.
We gotta chase. We gotta find.
And so understand this, that when a woman can get a guy just by looking pretty and being attractive enough and looking like prey, but in order for her to keep the guy, right? This is for any of the women, that's when they got to put the work in. Show that they're special. Show that that's how you keep the guy. But what happens, a lot of times guys don't have options, and because they don't have options, what they'll do is they'll take whatever. They're like, oh, I got one.
Now I can relax.
Now I can relax.
Yeah.
So you gotta. So is that the case that you don't keep the energy up? Is it?
I think so, because after I smash, I'm just
you don't give a shit.
Just stop putting in effort. You know what I mean? I take a little while longer to text them back, or
but before you smash, you on it, right? She texts you, then the bubbles are coming. 3 dots, the bubbles are going, right? Well,
yeah.
So let me say something. Part of the credibility, this goes back to credibility. Because if you present yourself as something, then that's what she's going to expect from you, right? So understand something. If there isn't, you know what I mean by the word incongruent? Incongruent is when you have presented yourself to be one way, but you're not really. It's deceitful.
It's a facade,
right? So you go, and you might actually just have changed your mind because after you smash, you lose interest, right? So you're willing to do everything to get her and nothing to keep her. So what happens though is that you have presented yourself as somebody who is attentive and who's present and who texts right back and this, and then after you hit, right, then you don't have that same energy. What I would say to you is stop lying about who you are. I know you think by doing all of those things you're going to get laid, but you probably will because you're the best version of yourself. But a woman will respect you being the person who you are more than you trying to create a facade of somebody. Because understand something, if incongruent means there's an inconsistency. So you are the way you are when you first meet them, and then you change into somebody else who doesn't give a fuck. You're better. Incongruency went I was talking about the empathy of women and how empathy, women have the ability to read the room. They have a great intuitive ability because of the fact that things can get dangerous for them, So what I'm saying in essence is if you show some level of incongruency. Incongruence means they read it as deceptive.
So what do you think he's doing? That
There's a deceptiveness, and deceptiveness reads to a woman as dangerous. So if you have presented yourself as this guy who's attentive and all of a sudden you start pull back, then you're a liar. Does that make sense to you? And if you're a liar, then how can she trust you? Because what else are you hiding? Go ahead.
So if I'm like straight, I feel like if I'm straight up and just like brutally honest, like I'll sleep with less women.
Is that what your experience is, or is that your assumption?
I haven't tried the other
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm just guessing.
Exactly. Because your assumption is that every woman wants a relationship. Your assumption that every woman that you sleep with wants you, and they don't. Some of them just want to smash and dash too. So the assumption that you think that you have to be this boyfriend guy in order to get laid is just not the truth.
And it's also deceptive because you're presenting the
because that's not who you are.
Boyfriend life, and then once you're done fucking, you go, well, I tricked you. It was just a one night stay.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, from my personal experience, when I had that run, and I had 8 at one time, nice. I just said nice to myself. Stupid.
Nice.
When I had that run, the thing I learned is those. I don't know why I've said that. Anyway, when I had that run, the thing I learned, because most of those were casual, and I was very upfront about it. Now, when you present that, there will be women who go, no, that's not for me. I'm looking for a long-term relationship. And then you lose that.
But 90% of them go, first of all, 90% of them want to, because you're presenting yourself as you are, what you're in essence saying is, I am valuable, even though I'm not giving you what you want, and they want to go, and they absolutely want to see what's behind it. Now, some of them might be in it because they want to change you, and it has a shelf life. But I didn't mean to interrupt you. But
my point was the ones that do stay, that are down for that. You have a good sexual relationship, and it's just sexual. So it's whatever you want it to be. If you present that up front and put your desire first, you will eventually get that. It's just not everyone will take that offer. Some women will be like, no, I want to be with.
And let's be honest, every guy that wants a relationship, women don't want a relationship. Ask Dom. Dom was trying to get his girl a relationship, and she still don't want it.
Right.
So what's the difference? The difference is that you've been deceitful, you've been dishonest, you've been incongruent. And then what happens is you lose your self-esteem because you knew you were lying in the first place. Mm. And now she knows.
Jason, can I ask, because you called up, the verbiage of that question is interesting because you go, after a while they disappear, but then you also said that you lose interest right after sex. So what is it, if you lose interest, what are you trying to hold on to? Or why are you upset?
Like the option. I like the option of just, seeing where things go, but not committing right away.
Why can't you just say that? Why can't you say? I mean, is that honestly what it is, or are you just a piece of shit that wants to smash and dash? And even if you are a piece of shit that just wants to smash and dash, trust me, that won't stop them. If they like you, that won't stop them from fucking you.
I mean, you could just put that in the Tinder bio. I'm a piece of shit who likes to smash and dash, and then
I swear that's not the case.
Okay,
fair enough.
So, but then what you're making assumptions that every girl that you sleep with wants you, and that's kind of arrogant, right? I mean, do you actually think that every girl you sleep with wants to marry you, wants to have a relationship and have babies with you?
No, but I think most girls
you're making an assumption that you don't know. And how many most girls did you know? Do you know? You know the girls that you dealt with, you know that you being dishonest is not working, right? Or at least not working to the degree that you want it to work, right?
Yeah.
So do something
What you're
different.
offering, Jason, is a product that you can't deliver on, right?
You don't believe in.
You don't believe in it, and you can't deliver on it, and then they get upset and disappointed because you're offering them a long-term deal or the potential for a long-term deal And then when you have no intention of delivering on it, on that boyfriend life,
you're giving boyfriend energy.
Yeah.
And you really want to say, yo, I mean, I wouldn't mind having a girlfriend that's cool, but you're gonna have to show me that you cool. And what you're basically saying, if you have a vagina, will travel. I have a vagina, will travel. As long as you got a vagina, I will give you boyfriend energy. But if you're not want to be, understand something. I had a friend of mine. He kept, came into some money, kept buying his son cars. Bought him a Corvette. He wrapped it around a fucking tree. Bought him a Maxima. He put it in a ditch. You know why? Because he kept buying him stuff. He didn't have to earn it, right? I remember my first car. My first car was a Chevy Chevette. It was puke green with beige vinyl interior. But I saved my money up, and that was my first car. And I shined that car till the rust came off it. I shined the rust off it. But it meant something to me because I had to make sacrifice to do it. What you're doing is you're giving somebody, the boyfriend energy when they haven't even earned it. Wouldn't it be better if you said, listen, I mean, how are you ever going to find this girl that you really want to have a relationship with if you're never really being who you are? You understand? You still there?
Yeah. Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Because it's all going for what don't come out in the wash comes out in the rinse. So if you ain't shit, she gonna find out that you ain't shit.
Jason, let me tell you from personal experience, right? Because you have a different problem than the nice guy problem. It's on the other end. But the thing that,
in other words, you a dickhead, Jason.
Wait, is that Baltimore slang or whatever?
Yeah, he's a dickhead. If you love what we're doing here, go to patreon.com. It's the best way to support us and check out all the bonus content.
That's right. Patreon.com/manschool202. We do weekly bonus episodes. We do listener mail, dating tips. And also, if you love the show, you can go back to the archive starting from episode 1. All the episodes will be there at patreon.com/manschool202. But I will say that I relate to this in the sense that when you ask for what you want and you get it and you're honest and you don't have to lie, that's the greatest, most relaxing feeling in the world.
Yeah.
So when I was dating multiple women and I was just like, hey, I want to keep things casual, and they said yes, and I didn't have to worry about I wasn't freaking out about, I gotta make sure I gotta call and to do this and do that because I have to maintain this boyfriend energy. It's just free, easy, relaxing, and it's great. It's great when you can just do what you want to do and be who you want. So it's freeing.
Be who you are is even more important. You're living a lie. And this is what I'm talking about. The deceitfulness, the lack of credibility, the lack of authenticity. You're giving people what you want, what you think they want. And I'm telling you, there's plenty of women who don't want that. Because trust me, if you had a girl and they really wanted you, what's happening is they're seeing you are attracting women or different kinds of women, and then when you show them, even if they would put up with you, being distant, you've lied to them. You understand? There's incongruence, and because there's incongruence, they don't trust you.
Even if she would have been into that, the fact that you didn't present that and you presented something else, it makes it like that you're untrustworthy. Because they're like, oh, if you just told me, I would have been into this. But the dude lied to me. So what else is he going to lie about? Or he misled me.
And if you said that, you said, look, I'm not really looking for a relationship. But if I connect with somebody and we really a vibe like that, I absolutely would have a relationship, which is not untrue.
Well, that's how I ended up with my chick.
Yeah,
she was. It wasn't supposed to happen. She was supposed to be on the roster. And then little by little, I whittled away the roster because she was great. And I didn't pick up anyone else.
Couldn't find nobody better. The other chicks who you were dealing with were aggravating.
So that's what I'm trying to do, like, essentially.
Yeah, but you're doing it under false
pretenses. Because I was honest with everybody up front. Like, even with my girl, she knew that I was living this lifestyle because I was upfront about it.
Yeah.
And then being upfront about it, there's no deceitfulness there. She's like, oh, okay, if that's what you're going to do. And then eventually it was like, I want something more. And it happened after I felt like, hey.
I'm full disclosure. Harry was into the BSDM, choking.
BDSM,
and choking bitches and all kind of tying bitches up and all kind. And he was honest about it. And there were chicks who were like, yo, I'm down, right?
Sure.
There were chicks who were down with it and some that weren't.
Some weren't into it.
And whatever, but The ones who were, and the
It
ones
was great.
who, you know.
The ones who were, it was great. You know.
But also the fact that understand something when you're lying. Like I always say this: if you get a guy and he's 5'4", and he's lying and he's on the dating app,
Saying
he
I'm
says he's
5'9".
5'6".
Yeah.
What he's in essence is saying is, I'm not 5'4" is not good enough. I'm not good enough. If I was only 2 inches taller, that would be enough, and that's just not true. I mean, there was definitely some women who go, I won't date a guy who's 5'4", he's too short. But that what she's saying, I won't date a guy who's not extraordinary enough to overcome the fact that he's 5'4". So you're lying because you don't think that what you have to offer is good enough. So you're creating a facade, which understand. Let's be clear. You are in the subtext. You are communicating that you don't think you're good enough. And and why wouldn't she believe you? Nobody knows your product better than you. So if you're going off and coming off as this way and you're not really that way, what you're in essence is saying, I'm a piece of shit and you're not going to like me if I be myself. And then when you do get tired and you be yourself, then they go, yeah, I'm good. I'm good on this. And it's not because they wouldn't put up with it, because they probably would. They probably would be
If you
fine with it.
presented it to them that way.
But you presented them. This is like, I don't know. Have you ever watched Kevin Samuels?
No.
Hello? No? So,
No.
so in the whole Red Pill world, there's all this thing. Everybody talks about high value man. It's a man who makes over $100,000 and he's this and you could be a stay home. Once you set that framing up, that's what everybody wants. They don't want the guy who's a plumber. They don't want to, because you said, well, this is the best thing. So what you're doing is you're setting the standard, and then you're not willing to keep up the standard that you're setting. When a lot of times relationships just don't happen that way. I always say that women don't know what they want, their pussy does. It is a visceral feeling. A woman, attraction happens in below the belt. It doesn't happen. It happens in their head. It doesn't happen on a list. I need a guy who has a Porsche, who has $100,000. It just doesn't happen that way. It happens in real time where people connect and they don't connect, and they turn each other off or they turn each other on based on real interaction, real social interaction. Okay? So you got to be honest.
Got it.
You got to be honest.
Jason doesn't seem like he has a problem meeting with
Yeah,
them.
I should.
Yeah, because he's being a fucking dirtbag.
Well, I mean, just
He's giving the whole farm away in the first initial.
The fact that he has a lot of women that he's meeting up with. We have a lot of guys who have trouble meeting women.
Yeah, that's
he doesn't
a
have
different
that problem,
Right.
Which means he has options, and he can ask for what he wants. He's probably not even going to lose the way he thinks he's going to lose.
He's probably not going to lose at all.
Right. He's
In
probably
fact,
going to
he'll
do
probably
great.
do better.
He'll probably do better.
Yeah,
So,
you'll probably do better. In fact, I know you'll do better.
yeah.
Because understand that the standard that women talk, if you say, do you want a guy that makes $200,000? They'll be like, yeah. And then you be like, what about a guy who makes $100,000? You'll be like, no, I don't want that. I want the two. You know what I mean? Everybody wants the first prize. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It makes sense. Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna start doing.
Just
I'm
shoot
gonna
for
start
what
just
you
being
want.
upfront.
Shoot for what you want.
Because they're going to find out who you are anyway and what your intentions are. They're going to find out. That you can't, whatever doesn't come out in the wash comes out in the rinse. All right?
So do I just say that immediately? Or I
Yes.
just kind of like
Say-
use it?
Let me ask you this. What is the honest truth? The honest truth is that you want a relationship, but you're not in love with having a relationship. You want to have a real connection with somebody. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, I just want to like chill for like a little while, then like feel you out and kind of,
Why can't you say that?
see what type of person.
Yeah, just say, listen, I kind of want to keep things casual. I'm open to the possibility of something more serious later on, but I just really want to keep things casual.
I had a friend of mine. Shout out to my boy Deron Harris. Always a good looking guy. Girls used to hit on him all the time. One time, Mariah Carey came to his bar, and her people was like, basically, get him to come to my room. And he was like, they went and said, "Yo, Mariah, Miss Carrie wants to see you." And he was like, "Oh yeah, I would love to. Here's a number. Call the number, and after you get over." And he was like, "Oh, I gotta work late, but I could come tomorrow." When he called the number the day after that, and there was no answer. Like she wanted to get knocked down. Right. Then I don't really care about this goofy bartender. I want to get knocked down now. Now, had he have gone, knocked it down, and then he was worth more than she thought, he might have been able to extend the
He might have been Nick Cannon. He might have been the future Nick Cannon.
Could have been. But he was like, "Yo, I'll call you tomorrow, right?" And she was like, "I don't know you and I don't like you.
I don't want anything long term. This is already a very quick decision."
And any woman that's saying, "Oh, do you want to be married? Do you want children?" I don't know. I don't know. I might with somebody else, maybe not with you, which is honest. And any woman that feels as though she's valued at that level that she could just make those demands, the guy who says, "Yeah, I'm good," that's the guy she chases. The guy that goes, "Yeah, I'm not, I'm good,"
Because that guy's not playing games.
How long have you been listening to the content, my content?
Jason?
Off and on for like since last year.
All right, so you know that I talk about authenticity, telling the truth, right?
Yeah.
And I talk about credibility, right?
Yeah.
So you are practicing nothing that I teach.
Yeah.
You're doing your own freestyle. So, and that's fine.
The best part, Jason, is you can start right now. Like, you don't have to. You can start now doing what you want, asking for what you want. You know?
You'd be surprised, Jason, okay? I promise you'll be surprised. All right?
All right,
bro.
Thank you.
You got it, bro. Easy. Put that number up. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's almost 513-202 Nero. Cash App is up, y'all. Stop playing. Send me some money.
It always goes back to guys not wanting to lose. Yeah. That's what it always goes back to. Nice guys or, dirt bags, whatever you want to call it. It's always the same situation. I don't want to lose this.
I don't want to
lose.
And you haven't even decided whether or not the person is worth your time.
Well, because we're sort of engineered societally that we chase women, and it's always us interviewing for the job with the women, and we never take into account because it's supply and demand.
And I get that, but how often? Look, I have friends who smash all the time, right. and even Jason sounds like a guy who gets options.
Has no
if
problem.
I ask him how many of those women if I ask him his whole roster, how many of the women that he actually dealt with that he really liked, he probably couldn't count them on one hand. Because it's just
a numbers.
She's got a vagina.
Yeah,
I'm in.
Well, sometimes also guys, I find also when guys, and I fell into this a little bit, when you start hooking up and you have the ability to hook up, it becomes an ego thing. Like you're like, oh, I gotta do this.
Yeah.
I can't. It just becomes a thing. It makes you feel better. Oh, if I get more numbers, if my numbers go up, it becomes something that you're doing to like, man, I'm doing something great, and I never had this opportunity.
And you feel obligated to do it.
Yeah.
And then I remember because I tell this story all the time is how Harry was on a road, called me up to keep him awake because he was falling asleep going to see some chick in Connecticut driving. And I was like, you do understand you don't have to do this. You can cut it down to 2 or 3 or 1 or whatever. And the chick that he was going to see wasn't even one that he particularly...
She wasn't my favorite.
No.
She wasn't my favorite, but I felt like I'd worked so hard to do this. And also, like, it's almost like... when you're starving, I spent so many years going without,
right?
That people are starving in China. People are not getting pussy in China,
and
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Well, put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't.